everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Kim, or Kimmy, as some of you might know me as. This video is actually going to be a story time about my first date ever when I was 14 years old. Now, just to warn you, I'm old as shit. I'm 30 years old, and this video or this story time takes place when I'm 14 years old. So it's going to age me. But I thought it would be fun to tell this story as kind of like a way for me to get in the feel of story times and to tell a story that I've honestly not even thought about in years. So if you want to hear the story about my first date, then just keep watching. Alright, so this story, oh my god, I can't wait to actually have lights because this sunlight is driving me crazy. Ugh. Anyway. So this story takes place in, oh my gosh, I know it was the summer of 2001. Wow. That was a very long time ago. And I was 14 and I went to a concert. Don't know how many people actually know of this festival. I don't even know if it still is around. I think it is, but I'm not for sure. It's called Ozfest. And so this was the first like major concert I ever went to, and I was so excited because Linkin Park was going to be there, and they were like just coming out, and they were like all the rage at the time. Slipknot, another one of my favorite bands, so I was just all excited. So I go, and it's like this, if you haven't ever been to a festival like that, it's super hot outside. It's right in the middle of summer, and we had lawn tickets. So you're like, there's the regular seats of the amphitheater, and then you're just like way back here in the lawn, and it's like a free-for-all out there. So I'm out there, and like these bands are coming on, and this happened so long ago, I don't remember how I met this guy, but we were like in the same vicinity. Our parents were there, and like we kept kind of like looking at each other, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So he comes up to me, and we're kind of like talking, and you know, he's like, you have really pretty eyes and all this stuff. So we basically just kind of talked. I mean, this was like 16 years ago. I don't even remember everything we talked about, but long story short, it was like we were kind of like, yeah, I kind of like you, you know, that cute little innocent like thing. So he was like, give me your number and I will call you. Well, let's just say that first of all, cell phones were just coming out at the time, like, because this was so fucking long ago. So the only phone number I had was either a landline or my parents' cell phone. I did not have a cell phone of my own. That wasn't even a thing, and it was probably like a Nokia phone, like those, I'll insert a picture here of those old Nokia phones. I'm sure that's what my parents had at the time. So of course, you know, you have to give out your parents' number or your home phone number and hope that they call you. So I was sitting in the car one day, and he called, I want to say like my dad's cell phone, and he's like, hey, you know, I had a lot of fun the other day, and I want to take you out on a date. And so I'm like, okay, that's good. Like, I didn't really know what to say. I was really awkward. So I was like, well, I have to ask my parents, and then I'll call you back and let you know. So my stepmom was the one that was in the car, and my dad was somewhere, I think he was like in Home Depot or something. And so I knew that I had to ask him, like, can I go on this date? And I was so scared. Like, if you are like, first of all, if you're the oldest and the oldest girl and you have to ask your dad or, you know, anyone that's like your parent to go on your first date, like, you're scared because you know it's going to be like an automatic no, or they're just going to like freak out. So I asked my dad if we could, or if I could go on this date. And of course, you know, you could tell on his face that he was like completely hesitant. He didn't want to let me go, but I'm 14, so it's kind of like, you know, do I let her go? Do I not let her go? So eventually he's like, okay, you know, you can go. So I remember like being super nervous, like what's gonna happen, all this stuff, and I got ready, and they took me out to his house, which was like 20 or so minutes away from my house, and they dropped me off, and he had like a big family, so I of course had to meet his whole family. It was completely nerve-wracking, and I'm like, he has like a super nice house, you know. I didn't come from like money, I didn't have like a bad house or anything, but my house was just, you know, an average house, and I go to his house and it's like this freaking, what I felt was like a mansion. So I'm already like intimidated. I'm just like, okay, so I'm meeting your family. I barely know your name. His name was Chris, and now we're going on a date to the movies. And so the movie that we went and saw was Fast and the Furious, and I remember like getting to the movie, and then like he bought me candy, and like we got into the movie, but it was so awkward. Like, if there was one moment of my life or one time in my life that I really wouldn't want to relive, it would be these like really awkward moments in time, because I think when you get older it becomes less awkward and you become more comfortable and dating is more fun. But when you're younger, it's like, it's really awkward, but then at the same time it's like you miss being like super carefree and like the anticipation of dating. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, I wouldn't want to be awkward again, but I'd also want to relive the moments of everything being super exciting and not knowing what to expect, and just like the giddiness of it all. So anyway, so we went and he bought me some candy, and we went and seen Fast and the Furious, and nothing really happened. I think he tried to hold my hand, and I was just like, no. And I was like more focused on Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, because they were just like all the rage back then, and they were super hot, and I was like, who's this guy that's taking me out on a date? So yeah, we didn't kiss, we didn't do anything. It was just really awkward. And I guess that was like the, should have been like the foreshadowing for the rest of my dating life, because it hasn't gotten much better since then. But yeah, so that was my first date. But yeah, I'll be back with more story times when I come up with some better ones, because I do have way more interesting stories than that with way more detail. But I just wanted to tell a story, and yeah, so I will see you in my next video. Bye!